cetera, et cetera. Anyhow, let's get down to your conversation. And I know you want to talk, I think, about speed index, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I see you have slides here, right?
And I'm sharing my screen. So if
Yeah,
you want to see
I see that. Give me a second. And
some of the slides. Okay. So I have a few slides. It's not um nothing really. I just wrote a few words to remind me where I am. Um sir. So yeah, we'll like three letter acronyms. So I had to come up with something. So sir, sensor, speed index, revival. I thought Renaissance, but I don't know how to spell Renaissance. Or okay, now it's Renaissance. So it's a revival. Yeah. So most of the time on these slides, I spend looking at Jeeves and Uster photos. So that was fun. So yeah. So I was recently talking, invited to talk at an event called AI and Performance, and I was okay, thinking can we use machine learning, which I didn't know anything about until a couple of weeks ago. Can we use machine learning to create a new version of Wislow? Um, so we talked about Wislow. So it was a original tool developed by Yahoo that had certain rules for web performance, kind of codifying what you should do to make things faster. And I was thinking, what about today? Can we have AI do this? And the tool is pronounced A I slow instead of O I slow. So A, the Canadian A. So I'll probably write it up in the calendar, but like you heard it here, the URL, if you're curious, is over there. So my goal was, or the question I asked myself was, can we use machine learning to uh, just kind of come up with Wisdom rules for today's world or for yesterday's world. It doesn't matter. Like I was just curious. Instead of doing like manual research and testing and stuff, can we use AI to do that? Then so the idea was, okay, here's a bunch of data. In this case, HTTP archive data, and tell me which of these features make the page perform better. And then the question was, okay, how do I define performance, even like the age-old question. I needed one metric for with all of these little features like the number of scripts and blocking style sheets and all that stuff to give me. Um, for the machine learning bit, I needed one metric. So the first idea was like I create probably an index of some sort. I think a lot of people have created their own kind of index or score of some sort, saying like, for example, I'll take my time to first byte and take my LCP multiply by 1.2 because it's important, and then I'll take the onload, some sort of average. But then I remembered, there's speed index. That's exactly the number that I'm looking for, and speed index is kind of something that I don't know, we haven't paid attention. So that's why I wanted to bring a little bit uh, spotlight on it. Um, and there's a name. So this is kind of it gives you three core web vitals in one. Mm. Because speed index is measures how long it takes for the content above the fold, all the pixels above the fold, uh, be in their final settled position. So it does this by taking screenshots while the page is loading. And at some point when the page is completely done, seconds after its on load event even, and you see, okay, so this is the final content above the fold. And then look back at the frames and say how quickly we got to 100% of this state. So it's not tied to any element or anything. It's just everything above the fold. So because it also measures any shifts, like how close we are to what it's going to be the end result. So you get the first contentful paint because it starts comparing the initial paint from the beginning to the final state. You get some sort of LCP because LCP is the largest element on the page, and this is not only that element or the visible portion of it, but everything in that. the viewport, and also layout shift because things move around, and the speed index compares the final state with all of the things that came before that. So if you used web page test, you can see something called visual progress. So this is what speed index is based on. So in this case, we see a page that's, for a while, nothing really happened. 100% is okay. This page is done. This is the final rendered page above the fold. And how did we get there? It's like, okay, for a while, 500 milliseconds, nothing really happened. And then we had whoosh, a whole bunch of rendering, and we were pretty close to 90%. We hung out there, and then at the end, we rendered the last thing. So speed index is basically the area above this graph. So if you spend a lot of time here not rendering anything, the area will be larger, so the speed index will be greater, and which means worse. Less is better, right?
I'm gonna ask you a quick question, and I've never, ever thought about this. The speed index is not a standard metric, though. It's not standardized.
Uh, it's not a standardized in terms of W3C and all that stuff. Yeah, it's not. It's an invention by Patrick Meenan as part
Yeah.
of his work on web page test.
Mhm.
It's available in Lighthouse, and there's a bug that I opened a feature request for the Cloudflare's new agent, and because the Lighthouse uses an open source library built by Paul Irish, so
Mhm.
it might be, you know I'm not gonna say easy, but easier than starting from scratch to implement this. So this is some page that nothing happens. So around here we have the this is kind of a silly page. Whatever was in my browser history, so it's not really a page, but just two screenshots. But yeah, so we render the first one, and then we render the second. So this is the end state. But so this is what happened while the page was loaded. Um, and the speed index is, yeah, like I said, that area above.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, this is speed index, three metrics in one. So this is another example where um, we have nothing, then at some point we have a whole flurry of activity, and we're almost ready, almost to 100%. And then
Mhm.
for a long time, we're not ready. Then eventually we're ready. So here the LCP is around here somewhere. So the LCP is, under second grade. The full story was above the fault content wasn't really ready until 6 seconds almost um, in the process of loading that page. So more interesting information. So yeah, I don't want to badmouth the core web vitals or anything, Annie has been and the Chrome team has been really really great in sharing how they got there, how they developed those metrics. So this is a if you search for Annie Perf now, uh, then you'll find that video of her. I don't have the YouTube link at the Perf Now stage, explaining how these were designed, what are the choices. So this is really enlightening. And I over there she had a slide that looked like this. So when they were developing LCP, then this is how they decided it's a good metric. How does it correlate to speed index? Uh, and she said in the presentation, I called loosely that she likes speed index, and if speed index was uh, quick enough to determine if it was real time, then it would have been the perfect metric. But the thing is, all right, to calculate speed index, you wait for the page to be done, and then you go back and compare frames. So you have a bunch of screenshots. And she said that they couldn't figure out. Maybe back then, this was 2019, maybe in 2025, 26 might be possible to hook into the Chrome's rendering pipeline to be able to get the speed index quickly enough so it's real time, because speed index is really a lab metric, not a RAM metric. So yeah, but this is when they thought it's a good metric because it correlates well to speed index. So people who might not like Chrome people don't may be disappointed with me for saying Chrome web vitals. So I mean, this this has been used as a kind of a joke that core web vitals are only in Chrome, so they don't give you the full picture, and that's why especially RAM providers would love this thing to be um, everywhere. But for me, I was kind of I don't really know because I mean, there's problems with those metrics. So do we really some of them, like LCP doors, it's a little too relies on heuristics, and are all the browsers going to get them exactly the same? And if they find a bug, because there will be bugs, who updates them? So we might end up in a world where, okay, my LCP is great in Safari, horrible in Firefox, that sort of thing. So I kind of wish that Chrome Web Vitals remained Chrome. Yeah. So this is this is Chrome people looking at me, and I'm the idiot with the straw hat. And that's one way to look at it. Or or this is a seasoned web performance engineer, and this is Chrome Web Vitals. And you're like, okay, what are we doing? Um, so let's talk about Chrome Web Vitals. And any critique? The first contentful pane, yeah, that's good. It's nice to know when something shows up. Like contentful is a little okay. It has to be non-white background, yada yada yada. It's good to know. I mean, it's the next important thing after time to first byte is basically shows you when any style sheets, any rendering blocking style sheets, and maybe scripts uh, were done, so we could show something. So this is good to know. Uh, Whether or not this is always good to paint something, it's questionable. I always thought it's great, but I've seen some research where if you show something to the user that is not complete, uh, and then they blame you, the site, and say, okay, this is obviously slow. Where if you show nothing, just blank screen for a while, and then the content, they blame the internet connection and the Wi-Fi. No. INP, yeah, it's not really in the same category. It's more of a interaction thing, which is great. Love it. We definitely need um, attributions, because otherwise, just having the slowest click on the page is not really helpful. But INP is good. LCP, that's the uh, elephant in the room. Um, Another video that you can look up, Harry Roberts talking about LCP on web dev. So if you search for something like this, you're gonna find the video. So he listed a bunch of like little things that are surprising and annoying. Mm, And this frame that I froze. So this is the web dev page, and what do you think is the largest pain here is the header, right? Because turns out that that's not the LCP element, and only because the LCP heuristics look for a block level element like a div or an H1, but in this case, the H1 was display inline, so it was not a block level element anymore. So it was ignored as the first contentful pane. So yeah, things like this. There's million stories out there for LCP being wrong, but this is really an instructive video, and Harry Roberts is great too listen to. So yeah, problems with the LCP is the debugging is what is the element. So sometimes you let's say you add Cyber Monday uh, banner on top, and then you move the page a little bit, and that banner is loads a bunch of, because it's poorly done, loads a bunch of scripts and styles, and everything slower and more disgusting. But your LCP is better. Why? Because what used to be the LCP image is now a little bit further, and it's no longer the LCP element, it's something else, like a heading, and it's just you're comparing uh, it's a different element now. So even though everything's slower, LCP improves. So not cool. Like things like cookie banners, right? Um, you're comparing, let's say, an image or a heading in some experience with a cookie banner in some other experience. So averaging is difficult enough in performance, and let alone when you're averaging like different things. So And again, yeah, there's good stuff that came out. Like one of the things that people do is prefetch their LCP element, which is great, great technique. But what if you get it wrong? Then or you do something that moves that LCP is a different element now. So now suddenly you're prefetching, you're wasting bandwidth on the wrong thing. You're competing with your style sheets by loading an image that is, not essential at this point. So yeah, enough about LCP. Cumulative layer shift, nice to know, but unlike speed index, it also measures stuff below the fault, which maybe not that interesting. And also the values are kind of, oh, I went from 0011 to 0017. How bad could it be? I mean, look at all those zeros on you. Uh, the value is kind of, I think, the weakest link. So I think we looked at this already. So, oh yeah, this is a site that I've been working on to generate exercises for sight reading. Um, and so this is its, the visual progress, because everything everything loads in parallel, and then there's a font bit after load. Nobody cares. Um, Chrome, so to speak, is rendered quickly, and now we're waiting for. So the biggest download is this JavaScript library that actually draws the notation. So the header and the footer, everything's ready. We're just waiting for this. So that's why it looks like, okay, this is the header and the footer and everything. We're waiting for the long JavaScript to load, and then eventually, okay, now we can render it because we've generated the exercise. We know all the notes and stuff. Um, and what's the LCP element is a paragraph, which is this one right here. So obviously nothing,
Mm.
nothing to do with the page. And I mean, this is rendered immediately. So if we look at the visual progress, it's right here. But the page is not down for, we have two more, like we have the exact same time to wait until it's usable. So yeah, this is kind of wrong. Yeah, we talked about this. Speed index is available in web page test. Whatever's left of web page test, it's in Lighthouse in the telescope, the Cloudflare's new agent. Go and upvote. Um, so what other kind of similar non-core, like on what is what is the opposite of core? Additional, non-core, non-essential metrics. Um, Yeah, you mentioned Boomerang, and all the work by Philip Tellis.
Mhm.
He comes up with amazing stuff. So one of the things that the Boomerang library offers is called time to visually ready. I think time to visually ready. So this is kind of similar to the speed index, and it's available in ROM. Um, But, just going back to the basics, element timing, which is you can define what on that page is the main content, right? If you're an e-commerce site, obviously the image and the buy button, the most important thing, the price. So you can define what is important, not rely on Chrome's heuristics to figure out what is important, but you can decide by yourself. Um, yeah, Team Ricky has always comes up with great metrics. Unattributed navigation or overhead. All right, there's some holes in between all those metrics. Uh, are you accounting for those? Like you might be spending quite a bit of time in things that are not counted by other metrics. Frustration index, another one by Team
Mhm.
Ricky. Uh, yeah, let's see how autocomplete. Frustration to 2019. Frustration might again. And frustration is intentionally all caps because oh yeah, you're frustrated.
But wouldn't that be, not to interrupt, but wouldn't that be something close to the to rage clicking?
Yeah. Let's see. So it's kind of looking at milestones, and so let's say when when time to first byte is quick, or first content paint is quick, but then it takes forever to be visually ready, or you
Mhm.
get some scanning or something, you're frustrated because you see something, oh, you're ready to go, and then you take forever. So it's looking at the gaps between those two. So I don't know about maybe extending the index. So there's reach clicks, something
Yeah.
thinking about. So yeah, this is 2019. Maybe there's an update. But so yeah, speaking of range clicks, also, so Speedcar published this blog post about user happiness. So this is also kind of um, um, a metric that is, comprised of a bunch of stuff. Like again, a formula, like the one that I was thinking when I started the machine learning thing. So and reach clicks is one of those things. So uh, and this is what goes into the formula. So again, interesting
Hmm.
to uh, while you're there on the split curve blog, there's this post that is really cool, which is about uh, a performance plateau where, like, we talked about. I think Rick mentioned this morning about, you make something faster, but nothing improves.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of related and cool, and yeah, brings me to another problem with the core web vitals is the the range of values that are considered good,
Yeah.
uh, because I mean the goal is to be applicable for the whole web, but that's not really applicable to your site. So um, to the specific site and specific user interaction, and really what's important. And yeah, I've been in a meeting where an executive is being explained crux and core web vitals, and looking at distribution of good and bad URLs, and it's pretty easy to stay in the green. And I was kind of almost hearing that in the brain of said executive, thinking, okay, why do we even spend more time on performance? We're in the green. Yeah, let's focus on other stuff. Performance is solved. So yeah, that I have a problem with that.
Right.
um, the performance. Now I'm speaking as a user. You're my only hope, to just pick the right metrics, and not settle, not plateau at certain range of the core vitals. And yeah, some things that we heard this morning. um David Ross mentioned that, core vitals is the minimum. There's more metrics, and Rick said that, at Google they track a lot more than core vitals. There's better metrics and more focus to a specific product. Um, and Erwin talked about, mentioned that, some SEO folks are kind of, oh, we're out of the Google game or chasing LCP because, and this was the double-edged sword that I was kind of afraid of when we started talking about how core web vitals are important for SEO. And so
Mm.
on one hand, it was great because if one thing SEO people do great is write content, so somebody knows about core web vitals. And I was wondering, I'm being afraid, like, okay, we focus this thing, and is there a chance to overpromise that, fix LCP, and you'll be higher in the search rankings? And when that doesn't happen, so I think now we're in um, that dip where people say, okay, I don't care. I spent all this work on, and my ranking is the same. So, well, yeah, the double-edged sword in the SEO, but yeah.
So, and getting back to the actual title of the talk, or what you had sort of mentioned, which is the SI, the idea of Sir. But do you feel like the spin index should be looked at more often?
Yes, yeah, because I mean, like I said, it includes all of the three core vitals and works better than LCP because it gives you the stuff that's happening above the fold. So everything that is above the fold. So it's not only one, like say a hero image or anything that may or may not be determined correctly.
Hmm.
And also the layout shift also is included, but only above the fold, unlike the CLS. Yeah. So yes, I also, there's you might have a change in the geometry which counts as a shift, but it's not visible. let's say some borders and paddings, white div inside of a white um, uh, background.
And I'll be honest, man, like I'm thinking about this SIR thing. It's really interesting because you do get at least at the very bare bones, you're getting two metrics in speed index. You're getting that CLS, you're getting the LCP, like
And
right.
three, and you're getting the first full paint because it counts all the paints on the
True, true. Yeah,
according the
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And again, I used to talk about the speed index like, hey, you could actually make out a lot of things just from like looking at that bar. You know?
yeah.
And but I didn't look at it as like multiple metrics in one graphic. And
Mm.
it's absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah, the first
Um,
tangle paint because like I said, the speed index is the area above uh, line. So the sooner you go up, the
mhm.
smaller that area will be, right? Instead of
Yeah,
staying forever and then
yeah. Folks, give the speed index a little bit of love. I think I shared some links. Let me put, yeah, I shared that. So that kind of explains what the speed index is. I mean, it's on the web page test
mm,
docs page because a speed index was the child of Pat Meenan, who was the original maintainer of web page test years back
mm.
until 5 years ago, actually.
Yeah, there's a little bit on it in the on MDN as well. But
Probably.
like you said, it's not a standard. So I think
Yeah, so I don't think they'll go deep into it, but so many things sort of come back to me, and now that I even think about it, like some of these seemingly disconnected dots are now reconnecting, like speed index. How Google kind of talked about it, how they always kept it around because I didn't realize how much they loved it. Then I'm forgetting Annie's talk, which
mm,
this is embarrassing to me. Um, Okay, Stoyan, I know we talked about it already, but I mean, you're more than happy. Oh, you shared the page already, but you have the performance advent calendar. I think I shared a page somewhere. Where is it? That it. Oh, there it is. The advent calendar, people can go and read so far, I think, three blog posts
yeah.
because today's the third. And if they want to contribute, they could certainly go here. And anyone out there, again, if you've been thinking about writing about something around performance, let this gentleman know. Go to that link. If you have something in draft, hey, this is the time to finish it up and put it on the calendar. Well, Stoyan, thank you very much for sticking around, and we'll catch up soon because we have to talk about other things as well.
Perfect.
All right, cheers, man. Take care.